When you encounter Corphish in Hoenn, you assume it's just another native water type. But the Pokédex reveals a much darker reality. It was imported to Hoenn as a pet, abandoned and rapidly multiplied because it can survive in heavily polluted water. But where did it originally come from? Game Freak has never officially revealed its homeland. However, since Corphish is based on the red swamp crayfish, lore theorists strongly believe it originates from a yet-to-be-seen Pokémon region based on the deep swamps of the American South. Perhaps a Louisiana-inspired region we might visit in a future generation. It is so adaptable that it will literally eat anything it can get its pincers on, starving out the native Hoenn water types. This makes Corphish not just a misplaced pet, but a biological weapon that is slowly destroying the local ecosystem. If you enjoy Pokémon lore and dark theories, consider subscribing for more videos like this. Now, let's continue. Alola is based on Hawaii, and Gumshoos tells a grim story of human interference. Alola originally suffered from a massive Rattata infestation. To save their crops, humans imported Gumshoos from an entirely different region to hunt them. But since Gumshoos sleeps at night and Rattata adapted to become nocturnal, the plan failed. So, where is Gumshoos actually from? Real-world mongooses were brought to Hawaii from Asia. This strongly suggests that Gumshoos originates from a dense mainland region we haven't explored yet, possibly the exact same unannounced Indian-inspired region as our next Pokémon. Introduced in Sword and Shield, Copperajah is a massive steel-type elephant deeply ingrained in Gala's industrial history. But the Pokédex explicitly states they came over from another region long ago. Gala is based on the UK, and Copperajah is clearly designed after an Indian elephant. This confirms one of the biggest fan theories in the franchise. There is a massive, unannounced Pokémon region based on India. Copperajah was ripped from its distant homeland and brought across the ocean solely to serve as living construction equipment for the Gala region. The fact that the Gala Empire had to cross vast oceans just to import these titans speaks volumes about the sheer scale of this undiscovered Indian region. While Copperajah was imported on purpose, Eiscue is a tragic castaway. This ice-type penguin requires extreme cold, yet it is found in the temperate Gala region. The Pokédex explains that it was swept away by aggressive ocean currents and drifted aimlessly until it washed ashore. It constantly generates a block of ice around its head just to survive the heat. But where did it drift from? Since penguins live in the extreme south, lore experts believe Eiscue is proof of an entirely frozen, undiscovered continent at the very bottom of the Pokémon world map, a desolate Antarctic region we have never been to. When the ice on its head finally melts from the Galarian heat, it reveals a remarkably fragile, worried-looking face that perfectly reflects its tragic situation. While other Pokémon migrated across oceans, Elgyem's origin is far more disturbing. According to the Unova Pokédex, Elgyem did not exist on Earth until exactly 50 years ago when it suddenly materialized in a remote desert. This is a direct reference to the Roswell UFO crash. It uses advanced psychic powers to squeeze its opponent's brain and rewrite human memories. The terrifying theory here isn't just about another region on Earth. Elgyem confirms that there are alien Pokémon regions out in the cosmos, and this creature is silently walking among humans. Even more terrifying is that Elgyem communicates by flashing its colored fingers in patterns that no human or machine has ever been able to decode. Standard Fire-type Vulpix and Ninetales are originally from Kanto. Centuries ago, they were brought to Alola by migrating humans. However, the tropical environment caused brutal territorial disputes with native species. To survive, the Vulpix population fled to Mount Lanakaila, the freezing, isolated peak of Alola. Over generations, they underwent a harsh evolutionary bottleneck, shifting into ice and fairy types. They look like majestic majestic mountain deities, but the grim truth is that they are Kanto refugees forced into the frozen wilderness. Because they live in such an unforgiving, blizzard-torn environment, they will occasionally guide lost humans down the mountain, though not out of kindness, but simply to get them out of their territory. Another Kanto native forced into a radical mutation is Diglett. Humans brought standard Diglett to Alola for farming, but unlike Kanto's soft soil, Alola is volcanic. Beneath the dirt lies dense, incredibly hard volcanic rock. A normal Diglett would crush its skull trying to dig here. To survive, the species adapted by growing metallic, golden hairs on their heads, based on real-world volcanic glass called Pele's hair. These steel-like sensors allow them to carve through bedrock, turning them into ground/steel types out of pure geographical necessity. Interestingly, the people of Alola revere these metallic whiskers as sacred, believing that seeing a Diglett above ground is a warning that a volcanic eruption is imminent. The migration of Cubone and Marowak from Kanto to Alola is a story of pure trauma. Alola is teeming with powerful grass-type Pokémon, which are ground-type's ultimate predators. The migrated Marowak were being actively hunted and pushed to the brink of extinction. Desperate to survive this hostile takeover, they formed fiercely protective packs. Through intense mourning, they awakened dormant ghost-type powers and learned to ignite their bones to fight back with fire-type attacks. Alolan Marowak exists solely because it had to conquer death and fire to avoid going extinct in a foreign land. The eerie green flames burning on their clubs are said to be fueled by the regrets and vengeful spirits of their fallen ancestors. For 20 years, we believed the brown, normal-type Zigzagoon from the Hoenn region was the original species. Pokémon Sword and Shield shattered this reality. The aggressive, punk-rock Galarian Zigzagoon is actually the oldest, original version of the species. The brown Hoenn Zigzagoon we grew up with is the immigrant. When the ancient Galarian Zigzagoon left its harsh homeland and migrated to peaceful regions like Hoenn, it no longer needed its extreme aggression. It lost its dark typing and wild nature, meaning the original Hoenn Pokémon is actually just a domesticated offshoot. Exeggutor holds a massive, paradigm-shifting secret. Since 1996, the short Kanto Exeggutor was considered the biological standard. But the Alolan Pokédex reveals we've been looking at a stunted version for decades. The towering 35-foot-tall dragon-type Alolan Exeggutor is the true ancient form. It requires massive amounts of tropical sunlight to unlock its draconic genetics. The iconic Kanto version is actually the descendant of Alolan specimens brought to a colder region. Deprived of solar energy, they shrank and lost their true power. The Kanto original is, in reality, a geographically stunted immigrant. By putting the species in the wrong environment for over 20 years, humans accidentally suppressed a majestic four-headed dragon into a clumsy, waddling psychic tree. If this video made you see Pokémon a little differently, leave a like and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe if you want more dark Pokémon lore, hidden details, and videos like this. More are coming very soon.